Today we're going to be working on this Samsung French door refrigerator. The model number is on the display. Welcome to DIY Repair Now. Read all the warnings, and during this video you will see one or more of these icons to help you do this repair safe. The complaint that we have with this refrigerator is that it's not getting any water or ice and neither of the ice makers. This model brings two ice makers, one on the freezer side and one on the refrigerator side. The first thing you're going to do is try to get water. If you don't get any water, if you don't see any ice on the ice compartments, that means it could be the filter. The first thing you're going to check is the filter. If you replace the filter and you're still not getting any ice or water, it could be the switches. These switches are being pressed when you put the cup, and this will send voltage to the water valve. This is the water valve. This is another thing that it could be, but this is more complicated to check because the door have to be closed to be able to check for voltage. The next thing, it will be the door switches or the door magnets, which are behind those covers, but you don't see them. However, these magnet switches or door switches are not common. The most common thing will be the filter housing, and the switches, the door switches. Now, if we replace the filter housing, you also will be replacing the water valve, the water tank, and also this part of the filter housing. Now, we will be replacing the whole filter assembly. If you want to replace the filter housing itself, here is a video. You can go ahead and press in the tag or go to the link on the description of the video, and it's going to be there for you if you just want to replace the parts that holds the filter with cold filter housing. In this case, we're going to go ahead and concentrate in the two situations that we have with this model, which is the filter housing and the switches. We're going to go ahead and press to see if we get any water, and then we're going to go ahead and replace the filter. We're going to go ahead and reset the ice makers to be able to get water on the ice maker. If we don't get any water on neither of the ice maker or water when we're trying to get water in a cup, that means the whole filter housing needs to be replaced. So we're going to be on the safe side and go ahead and replace the whole filter housing. As you see, we don't have any ice and neither of the ice makers, or we don't have any water when we pressed for when we go to get water. Now we're going to go ahead and replace the filter. If this filter is good, we just leave the existing filter because it's fairly new. However, if we replace the whole filter housing, it comes with a new filter. As you see, that's where you turn off the water for the refrigerator, and we're going to go ahead and start taking everything apart by removing the Phillips screws and also the Phillips screws that holds the water hoses in place. This is how you remove this water connection. As you see, this is a red one. You're going to see we're going to reuse that, and right now we're going to be able to do some more testing. The other thing that you got to check is make sure if you get water pressure. So we're going to go ahead and reset one of the ice makers, and I did it there. I didn't got that on the video, but you will see it later on. You can use a 1/2 inch ratchet or adjustable ratchet, and you will be able to take apart these water hoses. So right now what I'm gonna do is try to see if I have water coming in, because it's not common, but sometimes you don't have enough pressure. But as you saw there, we do have water pressure. I did put a little bit of water on a cup, and I'm definitely getting water from the water valve. Now again, I had a couple issues where I didn't have enough water coming in, and in this case, I don't know if while I was doing the testing, the water valve was off or on, so that's why I'm connecting everything back again, just to go ahead and double check again if I'm getting any water, because at one point I thought that everything that I was testing, it was with the water valve being off. So this is something that you got to keep in mind. Make sure the water valve is on while you do all this test. As you see, I'm testing again. I still don't get any water. I reset the ice makers, and the ice makers didn't fill in with water as well. If you check, this ice makers has a reset button on the bottom, and that's how you can get water in the ice maker. I'm gonna go ahead and show you that in a picture later on this video. And again, the main problem that we have with this model is the filter housing. Now this filter housing, they used to sell it by itself and you don't have to replace the whole assembly. In this case, I couldn't find the filter housing by itself, so I ended up buying the whole assembly for it. You'll find a link in the description of the video, and there's the part number. So we're gonna go ahead and start replacing the whole filter housing. This is the way I do it, and I know a lot of people do it in a different way, but this is the way I work. And sometimes I work a little bit different than everybody else to make my job in life not complicated. So if you see that I'm doing this in a different way than somebody else, I'm sorry, but this is the way I do things, because sometimes, like in this scenario, I was really close to reuse this water hose and I pressed that clamp right there. I mean that little ring to be able to unhook it, but I wasn't sure if the new water hose will go all the way in on the ice maker, and then I have to go inside the ice maker and do things there too. So this is the reason why I end up cutting the blue line, because the blue line, I don't see a way to get it out. This is a water connection that we're going to reuse, because I end up cutting the blue line and not replacing the whole thing. If you have any suggestions, just go ahead, and if you do this job differently, then I just go ahead and leave the comments down below, because I always open for suggestions so we can help each other in this channel. This channel is to help others and homeowners to do their job by themselves. So I really appreciate any comments. Again, this is the way I do these jobs, and again, it's been working fine for me, and it makes my job a whole lot easier. So the way I'm doing it, you won't need anything extra than what I'm using. Once you remove that, go ahead and unhook it from the bottom, as you see those arrows right there. Then we have 3 harnesses that we're going to end up disconnecting by pressing in release. Like, again, there are a total of 3 harnesses. That's for the water valves, light, and everything inside this filter housing assembly. Again, if you want to replace just the filter housing, there's a link in the description of this video that you can go and check how I did the filter housing if they sell it by itself. But it's a job more complicated. This is way easier. This replace pretty much everything. Again, there's a link in the description of this video if you want to go ahead and buy this part. Just go there and you will be able to get it through that link. Once you got it out of the bag, go ahead and fish your water line through the hole. Okay, it's a total of 4 lines, and just do it like so. Go ahead and connect all 3 harnesses in place. You will see if they connected right, because they only go one way, and you will hear like a little clip every time you connect each one of them. Okay, once you've got them in place, go ahead and adjust the bottom of the assembly into a hooks on the bottom. Sometimes it will have a screw on the back. In this case, it didn't have any screw on the back. Again, like I told you, it brings a brand new water filter with it, so that's kind of good. And this is what I'm talking about. I didn't want to take a chance and pull this water line because it didn't have a press and release ring like the gray side, so I didn't want to complicate my life. Again, if you have any suggestions, just go ahead and comment down below. but this is the way I did it. I'm gonna reuse the red connection that I removed from the other line and just reuse it in here. As you see, if you order the parts, if you do it this way, you won't need anything extra because you can reuse this water connection if it's working correctly. Otherwise, you can just go to Home Depot and take this one, and they will be able to give you another one. As you see, I'm fishing this one all the way in because I was able to take it out, and there it is. You know, I didn't want to take a chance with the blue one because it didn't have a press and release. Now connect your white lines, and also this part was on the whole new assembly. That way you can connect it to the main water line in water line. Okay, once you get this really tight, try not to over tighten it as well because it can damage the threads or it can cut the water hose inside. Now you're gonna connect the main water line. You can open it up, press the ice maker's reset button to get water coming in, and as you're gonna see in a little bit, there's water coming in, and also you can hear it. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the water lines in place with this Phillips screws, and as you see, I leave the whole blue line in case you will have to do another repair in the future. That will not bother anything. In fact, this repair at the time that I'm recording this video, it's been over 3 months, so this repair was a success and no more issues. Again, in your situation, you turn on the water, you might go for getting water and you will get water on the cup, you will get water on the ice makers. However, if you do get water on the ice makers and not in the water dispenser in a cup, you can keep watching this video because I'm gonna teach you that in this case, maybe because the water line and the water switches wasn't working for a long time, I was not getting any water at that time, and this is what I ended up doing. As you see, I was not getting any water after I did replace the filter housing assembly, but I do get water on the ice maker, so I know something was wrong with these switches. So I start taking everything apart. We remove these Phillips screws, okay, and then you can go ahead and just put your hand in there and pull this out. Don't be scared, that's the way it comes out. I know it's kind of dangerous and, you know, kind of crazy to put that like that and have it disconnected that way. Then remove the 2 Phillips screws that holds this switches cover in place. Again, you can replace the switches if they sell the switches, or you're going to end up replacing the whole assembly for this touch panel, which involves everything, even the board and the digits right there, the whole assembly. See, now I'm getting the switches apart because I have a feeling that because the water dispenser hasn't been working, that switch probably is corroded and it just needs to be cleaned. But in your case, the best way to do it right will be replace the whole switches. Okay, so the way I'm gonna go ahead and check this switch is by check for continuity with my tester, and every time I press the switch, which I supposed to hear a beep for continuity, I'm not getting any beep for continuity. And go ahead and check both, but one is for the water and the other one is for the ice, to get ice dispenser. So this is the one for the water. Now I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the wires, or try. They have like kind of lock mechanism on the wires, connections there. So this switch is not meant to take it apart, but I just use a knife. Just be careful with the knife if you're trying to get inside this little switch. But again, if you replace the filter housing in it and you get ice, that means you need a new dispenser mechanism or replace these little switches. You're gonna see me playing with it for a little bit. As you see, no continuity. I can see if I jump it, it will start working, but I'm trying to get this switch to work until I get the new one. After I mess with it, I end up like cleaning the terminals, but that didn't, appear really good on the video. But once you get it apart and you see the corrosion there, or don't even bother with it, remember you need to do all these tests what the refrigerator is disconnected. Okay, so if you got this situation, just go ahead and order this little switch or replace the whole dispenser board, which is the whole thing. Once I clean those connections there, everything started working fine. If this video helped you in any way, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.